So we research both sides of the point. So the only one point that we need to ask, so how long do those nonviolent criminals serve in the community service, and what kind of cases or questions we need to ask, right? And would they point it out so clear or more explanation whether what the cases where they need to serve in the community service or some others, right? So that's the questions. Can you answer that?
No.
Because
I don't know how to answer.
all right, that's a question. Now, we had bond plenty of the arguments, great flaws, also particular rebuttals. Now, the only one thing that we need to is how do we put those nonviolent crimes categories into misdemeanor, and they must be imprisonment in a jail sentence or prison punishment. Now, that's the point. When we're talking about the decrease, the crime rates, we're talking about the immediate investigation. So now allow me to bring my flaw back to you. Right. So you asked me how to write about decrease the crime rates. Well, we changed that. We changed decrease the nonviolent crimes, period. Right? Decrease the nonviolent crimes, period. So we're talking about the crimes. Yes, of course, both crimes we're talking about. But we're specifically talking non-violent. That's every single thing that we need to point out. Now, when criminal committed crimes, police, the judge, the jurisdiction must put them in jail, right? If they get arrested, they must be in jail. According to what? According to the law, according to the criminal codes, according to more other, more others. But when we talking about, so reverse way, students, people would bring out that the nonviolent crimes is not even serious, it's not even serious. Like a certain crime such as shoplifting, cyber attack, or hack to someone's account, they could serve into the community service around like 6 months or 12 months ahead. But one thing for sure, is it a crime? Is it nonviolent, right? Is it nonviolent crime? And these crimes are considered as a misdemeanor, all right? As a misdemeanor. So that's what we can reverse the point. Now, bring it back to you. Whatever the mistake they made, or whatever the crimes they made, we need to put them behind bars. We need to put those criminals behind bar. It means that they deserve to be punished. They deserve to be sentenced by the judge once they committed the crimes and got arrested by the police. So when these kind of problems happen, and when these kind of problems have solved, one thing for sure, the crime rates in the city becomes less and less and less, or not just only the city, but around the world become less and less. So If any one of you can find, excuse me, if any one of you can find like a cyber attack, how many cases that which happened in the world about shoplifting? How many cases happen? Let's just say, example, in Cambodia or across the world or the United States. What the judge do about it, all right? What the police do about it, whether they deserve to be in jail or whether they deserve to be in community service. And I talked with one of my friends this morning. Well, we talk about nonviolent crime, right? And then I said, how many countries, which has the world largest populations of prison, allow those nonviolent criminals to serve in the community service? He said, yes, and America does. I said, America, but we're talking about the country. We're not talking about states, because the America run by states law and also the country law, right? So when they talking about when they talk about America, because some of the cases such as violating the traffic laws or any of the city laws, they serve in the community service, and those can be counted as a misdemeanor, non-violent. But one thing for sure, we're talking about the countries. We're talking about the whole world. We're not talking about state by states in the United States of America. Remember that, because in this point they will say some sort of way in the United States because of the study shows that I provided you or some other point. And we had the statistics across the world, which has the most populations of prisoners. Only two countries, let me predict, only Netherlands or somewhere in Japan, they allow those kind of non-violent criminals to serve in the community service. Such as example, like hackers, if they got caught, they would work for the police stations, for example, like that, right? If the shoplifter, they probably work as a painter or paint the road or whatsoever. And there are some other cases. So now, any one of you can try to find out one thing that I would love to ask them. One thing is looking for the cases. How many cases of these non-violent crimes of like shoplifting, like purse snatching, shoplifting, or whatever it is, for those cases, drug possessions, and how many countries will allow them to do community service? How many of them would not allow them to do the community service? Understood now? Right? So when we get this evidence, we can compare and we can show to the adjudicators, and we can show this flaw to adjudicators and to our opponent that this point is clear enough to state out that the community service is better for punishment, but these kind of crimes of nonviolent would not be able to be suited in the community service. It's because of the evidence I have found according to this website references and showed out to the adjudicators. Anyway, come back to your second point, decrease the crime rates. So decreasing the nonviolent crimes is one of the best way to put all the criminals behind bar, or the community or the victims get justice from the judge, right? That is the point. Now, I'm not going to ask you to say more or say anything further about decrease the crime rate, because when the criminals committed a crime, then they should deserve to be sentenced or they should be arrested. And the laws must put them in justice or taking an act because this is an act of crime, even though it doesn't cause any injury or it doesn't hurt anyone, they're supposed to be in jail. That's the thing. Very short and simple about decreasing crime rates. And use a statistics point, like I mentioned earlier, about the comparison between nonviolent crimes, criminals who committed as shoplifting, hacking, drug possessing, or trash trafficking. How many of them serve the community service, and how many of them punished in the prison or imprisonment? That's a comparison. And now look at the crime rates which happened, years ago, and right now look at the crime rates which happen now, because of the sentences that is judged by the judge in the court. The rates of the crimes are dropping low comparing to years ago. Understood now? That is the point I need to have in our argument, decrease the crime rate. So what about you, Nisa? You got the summary point? Okay. So are you able to build it right now? Kanika?
Maybe.
Yeah, let's start building right now. And we're going to practice with Kanika Putika right now.
Tell that I'm trying to, like, the Wi-Fi is too slow right now. Wait.
Right. Bring the Wi-Fi back into your place.
So I mean, if present my point right now, I'm not going to state some like of the rebuttal, like just present my script.
No, well, we need to practice everything. I know you've already prepared the rebuttal's point. Okay, I need you to say it out. Yeah, that's what we practice.
I didn't prepare any rebuttal.
But any one of you had that? Have some of them? Does anybody of you have some of the rebuttal points?
Read the rebuttal.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting about this kind of motion. And I guarantee you, if you believe in yourself at this point, because you know that when people committed the crime, doesn't matter non-violent or violent, they're supposed to be in jail or imprisonment. I'm sorry, the imprisonment rather than in community service, right? So no matter what, and I believe so. We had enough evidence to Lisa. We had enough evidence to show to the adjudicators and the other persons, especially, and stated out clearly about the laws and stuff like that. Whatever the research pointed out. So, Kanaga, you ready for practice? I'm sorry, Patika. Let's go.
Okay, shall we? Hold up. Violation, crimes, mistakes have all been made, and it doesn't matter how big or small that is, it still counts. So responsibility are the most important roles in order to admit, confess, and alibi. Therefore, law is only justice for this sort of thing. Some people make mistakes or commit crimes, whether violent or non-violent crimes. So greeting honorable educators, teacher, proposition teams, and audience. I am Putika, the opposition leader, and I am responsible for the first argument and the reply speech. Our second speaker, Kanika, who is responsible for the rest of our team argument. And Nisa, our third speaker, will be responsible for our team motion summary. And our opposition team will disagree under this motion. This House believes that community service is a better punishment than prison for nonviolent crime. Ladies and gentlemen, allows me to define motion key term first. Based on Oxford Dictionary, the word punishment means an act or a way to punishing somebody. The word prison means a building where people are kept as punishment for a crime. A nonviolent crime refers to a crime that isn't involving force or injuries to another person. Well, yes, of course, community service is better sentenced or punished to nonviolent criminals. But in contrast, prison is not bad as it looks. However, prison is a place for rehabilitation, educational, correctional, criminal people. Honorable Chairman, respectful adjudicators, allow me to address our first team argument is to ensure that the law is respected and upheld. But before going to my argument, I would like to state some misconception. You stated that community service is a great way to cut government costs. Well, yes, community service might be less expensive than prison, but in prison, they also provide you education and make you become a better person. Many countries throughout the world strive to uphold the rule of law where no one is above the law. In fact, nonviolent crime doesn't cause injury or use force to other person, but this crime must be imprisonment. According to www.gablelaw.com, nonviolent crime are considered as misdemeanors according to Criminal Code of Cambodia, Chapter 1, Category of Penalty, Section 1, Article 47. Definition of misdemeanor is an
Misdemeanor.
offense for which misdemeanor is an offense for which the maximum sentence of imprisonment incurred is more than 6 days, but not more 5 years. More details, the nonviolent crime that considered as misdemeanors, such as drug possessing or drug trafficking, hacking to someone's privacy, or stealing money safely from cybercrime, people committed not to pay tax to government, etc. These are categorized into misdemeanors, which is called nonviolent crime, and also against the criminal codes in each country, especially the Cambodian law. Even though the crime I mentioned above don't use any force or injuries anyone, but this is an act of crime and will deserve to be punished in prison instead of community service. So if you proposition team think community service is a better sentence or punish rather than imprisonment, please respect the law, take a serious consideration of justice or criminal law that is provided in Article 47. No one is above the law. That is reason why law must be upheld and respected. That's why our team opposed this motion. This has believed that community service is better punishment than prison for nonviolent crime. Thank you.
All right, it's just 3 minutes and 38 seconds. That's the point that we need to work out fast. There are some point we need to show the facts. All right, let's cut the crap of the introduction now. Okay, let's cut out the introduction, the violation crimes from the beginning of the, the first beginning of yours. So now here's the deal. All right, I'll show you the way out. Now here's the deal. So we're going to start. So we're going to point out at the beginning of the start. Okay, so when the adjudicator or the timer allows to get into the competition, boom, now it's our turn. So to show it, ladies and gentlemen, this is a criminal code of Cambodia. And we're showing this is Criminal Code of Cambodia, Chapter 1, Section 1, penalty, principles of penalty. According Article 47, misdemeanor. So misdemeanor meaning misdemeanor. Now, and then we are going to have non-violent crimes are classified as misdemeanor. And what is misdemeanor? Then just present it now. Understood now? So if it's not going to save any time, but it's like much, but I'm just saying at least we're showing like a real proof to the audience at the very beginning. All right. So once again, now the practicing is we cut out the introduction that we have here, but we're going to replace it into, ladies and gentlemen, before I start, I would like to show you something. So this is Criminal Code of Cambodia, Chapter 1. Chapter 1, Principles of Penalties. According to Article 47, misdemeanor. I will rearrange one paper for you, the comparison. Example, non-violent crimes are classified as misdemeanor. Point like this. Understood now? All right, boom, that's it. You don't have to work on all the way to the point where you need to say, okay, you don't need to go with the point where you say it, because we raised that up at the beginning, but I want you to emphasize the meaning, to emphasize, the sounds one by one, state it out clear. According to the Article 47 of misdemeanor, which also called non-violent crime, then you can present it down. So imagine like you cut this crap out from the beginning, and also the introduction, you save at least 20 seconds or 30 seconds or so. All right. But the only one thing you need to get used to the papers. I will print out the paper, and teacher will design some paper, more thing to prepare for you today. Understood?
Yeah, teacher, also can you send the recording after the meeting?
Yeah, I will. Don't worry. Kanika?
Yes.
Okay, so would you try to work on your part now?
Wait, try. I only have a rebuttal, but it's not. I think it will be great, but can I just read it with the script?
Yeah, you can just to practice it out, right? We have more time today. Today, go on.
Community service is only less of a punishment. It doesn't make the criminal correct their behavior. As for prison, it's known as correctional place. Prison is like school. They don't let you out until you learn your mistake. So greeting honorable adjudicator, judges, chairman, teachers, my amazing proposition team, and audience. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Kanika, the second speaker of the opposition team. Before I continue to my main objection, allow me to state some misconception from the proposition side. You stated that community service provides second chance to criminal. In fact, community service can give criminal a second chance. But do you think prison can give the chance to criminal? That's wrong, because prison is where uneducated people get educated to rethink, reform their mistake. And wouldn't it be a chance for them to escape while doing their task also? As a matter of fact, since the 1790s, prisons in the USA were built with the means of reducing crime rate through the usage of incapacitation, deterrent, and rehabilitation. However, prison changes people by providing education, treatment, which is an effective way to reduce crimes in the future. Based on www.bbc.com, researchers at the Institute of Criminology at the University of Cambridge stated that long-term imprisonment changes people to the core. Furthermore, prison gives offenders the chance to reflect their actions and reform their behavior. Prison might be a bad place, but in contrast, prison provides opportunity for criminals to correct themselves, such as school courses and programs. On the other hand, nonviolent crime have its durations of being in prison. Within this amount of time in prison, criminals can rethink about their action. Of course, community service is a better punishment for nonviolent crime, but don't you think providing education before to work is better? Based on www.researchgate.net shows that among 20 countries with the largest prison population, only 2 reported recidivism rates for individual given community sentences, according to philosophy professor Balaki, who has taught all kinds of prisoners more than 5 years. Also, the president of school prison program. Her program is very effectively and successfully great so far. According to the same resource, the recidivism rate Bureau of Justice study stated that 76.6% of released prisoners rearrested within 5 years because they didn't take the study course, while those with post-secondary education, about 20% got associate degree, bachelor degree, and have better job than community work. That's why our team opposes this motion that this house believes that community service is a better punishment than prison for nonviolent crime. Thank you.
Right, good, on time. So we'll figure out later on about the rebuttals, what they're going to say on Tuesday. One thing I am interested in, the point is about the history of the prison back in the 1772. So, and I really do appreciate it that you bring that up, but you still presented something that not into my mind. Your explanation covered the decrease the crime rates, right? That's the point. But second to none is about, the future. We're not talking about the future here, but of course we're including the future, but we're talking about, how to put them or how to decrease it, the nonviolent crime from highest rate to the lower rates. Okay, so from this point, like I talked to you earlier, this is what we're going to show them. Like, remember what the questions I asked you to research is the crime rates, the nonviolent crime rates that happens in the world. So right now, comparing to years ago, I don't know how long, but right now, is it dropping or is it rising? Understand that? That's if the study shows, say, high rising, then we're not going to cover it. But if the study shows, say, the nonviolent crime rates is dropping down to the certain number, and then we can raise it up. You got that? So make sure you have that point, and then build it up and put into your decrease the crime rates. Of course, you said put them behind bars and something like that. Now bring up the comparisons of the flaws and the arguments between the crime rates is high rising or the crime rate is lowering of the year, and then we can say it a certain amount and show it to the people. All right, show it to the people. Well, I'll drop you a new link right now. Isa, you're up next.